Hello. So today I'm going to be giving a lesson on the absolute basics you'll need before kind of sitting behind a drum kit. We have a nice, beautiful kit around me here, and I would just want to go through the absolute basics. Is the plan? So first things first would be how to hold the sticks. This is something that a lot of beginners get wrong because it's not something that people will focus on teaching until kind of later on in the development process. But I believe it's very important that any sort of bad habits that will form from the beginning is you want to get rid of them as quick as possible because stick grip, the way you hold your sticks, it's vital. It's very very important to the way your drums sound, the way you're hitting certain certain parts of the kit. So I believe we will be going over the stick grip, and then I will be attempting to show you how to utilize the stick grip to then control bounces, because bouncing on the kit is something that a lot of people struggle with, as I've noticed. So yeah, that is the plan for right now. So this will only be a small video, but I'd like to just go over the basics. So with the stick grip, you want to, the way I hold it, and the way I think is the best way to hold it, is with your middle finger and thumb. You don't have to, don't go doing that. All you have to do is have it between there and there. This is your fulcrum. This is where the magic happens. So with this, you're able to push, even without my fingers there. So my fingers, the only finger that's touching it right now is my middle finger. The back two fingers, the ring finger and the pinky finger, come in for more control and more consistent control later on. This finger, the index, kind of just glides a little bit. You may occasionally switch into it, but we'll get onto that later. So the first exercise I would like you to do is hold the stick like this. So like literally it's just with the fulcrum, no other fingers are touching it, and then let it bounce. So my thumbs not even touch, there's no control there. You just let the stick do what it wants to do. Do it 3 times. So with that exercise, you can kind of feel what the stick wants to do, and your goal as a drummer is to control that. So the best way to do that is to start adding in fingers to start allowing you to have more control over the stick. So the best way I have ever been taught to get a decent and/or roll, the best way that's ever been explained to me, is when you're doing that bounce, that wild bounce, the thumb stays on. Okay, so now we're not going to just be letting it bounce willy-nilly. We're going to be using our fulcrum to try and put some control into the stick. So with that, it'll be something along these lines. This is what we're listening for. That's what we would like, a nice consistent double. But what we will do right now is just take the stick and allow it to rest, and then just push the stick with that bounce into the snare head. So that's something we would call a buzz roll. Not a very good one, but it is one. Left hand, right hand. So with that, you can kind of feel how pressure will allow the roll to become more controlled and more defined. So what I would recommend in that situation is you do this. And the idea is to control it so that you stay at 2. Now, there is exercises where you get to 3, 1, 4, 5, 6, it goes all the way up until it gets a bit silly. But you want to get to a nice, consistent double roll. That is the plan for today. So with that, push into the snare, hold the fulcrum nice and steady. Don't hold it super tight. That is a mistake that a lot of people will make. It's supposed to be quite a loose grip. Like almost that, like I can kind of do anything with it, and like even with I have no other fingers attached. I literally only have the fulcrum. There's still the ability to control that. Using the thumb, you want to kind of push into the stick and control that tip so that the tip only hits twice. Now, this will take a bit of trial and error because it's actually surprisingly much more difficult than you'd expect. Especially with your bad hand. So I'm right-handed, so my right hand is a hell of a lot stronger and has a lot more control than my left hand. So my left hand, it took me years to be able to get my left hand even consistent with my right. And even today, my right hand is still stronger. So with that, let's just try do something very, very simple as a play along, and it will be just a very simple double with the buzz roll. So that would be with the one where you are just trying to push it in and get as many as you can. So like that. So let's do this. Okay. Now, you kind of have an idea at that point how to control it. So let's try and implement just the doubles. Another thing that's very important with drumming is your stick positioning. So my stick position is actually terrible in this. I've gone a bit to the corners. Try and make sure the sticks are always right in the center of the drum, because that is where the nicest tone comes out. So again. And once again, in this exercise, just take off all your fingers, because it will allow you to understand the control of the fulcrum. And again. Oh, that was 3. That is the absolute basics of stick grip. I would recommend getting that kind of idea down before you do anything crazy behind the kit, because stick grip is very, very important, and it can really have a massive impact on how you're playing. So yeah, I hope you learned something today, and thank you very much for watching.